DK Oldies.
DK Oldies.
DK Oldies.
DK Oldies.
DK Oldies. We've heard a ton about them, especially if you're in the retro gaming scene like I am, and there's a lot of people talking about DK Oldies right now. Let's talk about what the hype's all about, and I'm going to try and break this down in a little bit more clear way so you can really understand what's going on without all the hype and all the drama. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. If you're kind of just casually keeping an eye on the retro gaming scene, or if you're fully engrossed in the retro gaming scene, you've probably heard a lot of the drama with DK Oldies that's been coming up recently in your video feed. And of course, we're going to jump on that bandwagon and just beat the crap out of this company, totally taking a dump all over the retro gaming scene and just screwing it up for everybody. Or are we? I'm gonna approach this from a non-biased opinion. I've been on both sides of this coin. I've been on the retro gaming side, and I've been on the fixing up retro gaming consoles side and running a business side, which I think a lot of the YouTubers that are commenting about this are lacking. They're looking at it only from one side. So I'm going to try and give you a little bit of perspective about the whole situation, but we will talk about the different arguments, if you will, that everyone's making right now. Before we get too far into this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below. If you've seen some of our content already and have not subscribed, we want you to join our community. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and let's get back to the video. So first of all, let's talk about who DK Oldies are. So if we go to Google and we search for DK Oldies on Google, you're gonna see actually an ad first of all. So they are paying for ads to be put right at the very top with DK Oldies. So let's open it up and let's have a look. I actually have their website open back on my screen back there, but let's look at it right here. So first off, you'll see DK Oldies Retro Game Store. Buy used video games, original game systems, and old school gaming accessories at the largest family-run retro video game online store. Shop all our vintage, 100% authentic products with a free 1-year warranty and free domestic shipping on orders over $10. That's a really big deal. Now, if we go into this a little bit deeper, you'll see that they have their retro deals, which show original NES 2-player pack, regularly priced $269, now selling for $195. This is Canadian pricing. Most popular N64 2-player pack, regular $269, selling for $242. Wii System player pack, regular $201, selling for $148. And the fan favorite Sony Slim Black PS2 player pack, $363, now selling for $269. Now, it's important to note that the first complaint is that they always seem to be running a sale. So even though they say the regular price is this and the sale price is now $195 for a PlayStation 2, nobody has actually seen them remove the sale price and sell at that $269. Now, this is borderline scamming. And it is, I mean, I understand why they do it, because you want to create the sense of scarcity, the urgency. Another retailer that's actually really popular for this would be Costco, where you have got the mindset where if you go to Costco, whatever they're selling right now today, if you don't buy it right now, they're going to sell out of it and they won't have it the next time you come back. So everyone kind of gets into this frenzy buying. Now this is marketing 101. Create scarcity, or create the illusion that this won't last long. And that's why a lot of times commercials will say, hurry, sale won't last long, or only today, today only, whatever. There's a ton of consumer laws that are designed to protect you from this sort of thing, but people fall victim to it all the time. DK Oldies, maybe these are sales, maybe they're not, I don't know. But we've got shop more deals. So now we can actually dig into different systems that you might be looking for, different games, different consoles, different accessories, and all of that. And a quick glance through kind of the pricing, you're gonna notice right off the bat that the pricing is somewhat high. Now, somebody who's in the gaming console space would know that there's better deals to be had on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace, on, you know, just kind of locally, you can get better deals. So right off the bat, they're probably not marketing to you or I. People who are a little bit more savvy, people who are willing to take a little bit more risks, people who kind of know what they're getting into. You know, all of these systems that you see here, I purchased these used on Facebook Market or my local Kijiji, which a lot of you guys don't have in the States, or you have it, you just don't use it. But it's kind of like Craigslist or whatever. It's no different. They're all the same. So people put stuff for sale, you go and have a look, you take a chance, you buy it, you hope it works. This right here, this Nintendo, for example, I bought as a working Nintendo. When I got it home and plugged it in, it didn't work. It didn't turn on. It turned out I had to pull this apart and replace all the capacitors in the power supply for it to work. While I had it apart, I also replaced the 72-pin connector. I cleaned up the system and generally gave it a good refurbishment. That is above the scope of most people out there, and they don't want to have to do that. And that's where a site like DK Oldies comes in. They get these systems, they test them, they refurbish them, and then they sell them. Or do they? So here's the thing, all of their systems, let's have a look here at their NES. So this is an original NES one-player pack. It is the system and the controller. They say the condition is refurbished, and they're looking for $127.84 Canadian. Now, I will tell you, I bought this Nintendo with a couple extra controllers and quite a few pack-in games, and I paid about $100 for it, and then I had to refurbish it on top of that. So I had to buy the capacitors, I had to buy all the stuff, I had to know how to pull it apart, and I had to spend some time. It is something that I would not want to do again, and I'm glad that the system works now. However, when you factor it all out and you factor my time, it's actually not a bad deal to buy a refurbished system for $127.84. Now, the question that a lot of people have had recently is, what does refurbished mean to a company like DK Oldies? Now, when you or I say refurbished, I would think that the system would have been opened up, it would be cleaned, any defective components would be replaced. The problem is, it is hard to say what is required. If it turns on and it works, does it need fixing? Now, from a electronics refurbishment standpoint, it doesn't make a lot of sense to replace things that aren't broken yet. So if it turns on and it works and the games work, then simply they could just blow it out, clean it off, and pack it up and say it's a refurbished system. Refurbishment would mean that anything that's broken gets replaced. It does not mean that any wearable parts are replaced. Because that, if it's not broken yet, who knows if it needs to be done? Maybe it was been done already. So the question that a lot of guys online have had is that they've bought a refurbished system, they've opened it up and found that the inside was dirty. And then they wondered, was this cleaned at all? So it seems like DK Oldies' version of refurbished means that they've turned it on, made sure that it works, and then if it worked, they just wiped the outside down and then packed it up and then sold it to somebody. So they didn't do a lot of extra steps. From a business perspective, that would be expected because they don't have a lot of time to pay somebody to fix something that's not broken. Now, again, the community in general thinks that that's unacceptable. They say refurbished should have a bare minimum where you at least open it up, where you at least clean it, and you at least fix anything that's broken. Now, DK Oldies did release a video saying, here's how we refurbish a Wii. So this is where we get into that gray area where, you know, if they just wiped out the outside, blew out through the exhaust holes and made sure that it worked, and that was all that was required, you could easily argue that that is a refurbished system. It is a tested, working, refurbished system. But since DK Oldies has shown this video saying, here's us refurbishing a Wii, and you see them opening it up, you see them cleaning it out, you see them testing it while it's open and doing like a full run-in test, they make you believe that all of their systems are having that same treatment. And that's clearly not the case. And that's what most people are upset about right now, is that they're trying to make you think that a certain service is performed. They're charging a premium price for that service, and they're not performing the service that you thought that they were performing. Now, the other complaints that people have with DK Oldies are really a couple little things. So number one is, in the case of buyers who have purchased a system that came and did not work, their response is Did you turn it on? Did you connect it to your TV correctly? Did you make sure that you used the correct cables to connect it to your TV? Did you make sure that you didn't swap like the yellow and the white cable when you plugged it into the TV? Are you sure your TV supports the signal that the system is giving off? Did you try blowing on the cartridge before you plugged it in? A lot of basic troubleshooting, and it's basic troubleshooting that you or I would do all the time when we're hooking up a system anyway. But you would be surprised at how many people don't know how to do even those basic things. So I know that a lot of the YouTubers out there are just jumping all over them saying, you know, I'm not an idiot. Of course I checked the cables. Of course my TV supports it. Why would you guys like treat me like I'm so stupid? Well, the reality is somebody who's paying $300 for a refurbished system may not know how to hook up that system to their TV. They may not know how to check if their TV actually supports that video signal. So it's totally reasonable for them to have a stopgap where they say, well, hold on, before you send it back, let's just check a few things, because that would solve 9 out of 10 problems. I'm pretty sure of that. Now, the other thing is they do add a void sticker onto the case so that if you were to open the case up, you would have to peel this void sticker off. Now, I understand why they do that as well. And again, there's a lot of YouTubers jumping all over them saying, why would you put a void sticker when you've already opened it? There's no warranty or whatever. Well, there is a warranty. They have a 1-year warranty. Now, for them to honor that warranty, they want you to not screw with the system. Now, a good example is I did see one YouTuber who used to work in this industry. He said that he fixed a PlayStation 3. He knew it was working. He sent it to a customer. The customer said, oh, actually it's not working. He said, oh, that's really weird. Send it back. So he sent it back and he opened it up and found that the motherboard actually had a problem. He fixed the motherboard. He sent it back again. And the guy said, it's really weird. I don't know what happened. It's still not working. And so he sent it back and he tested it and he's like, oh, there's a different problem with the motherboard. This time he replaced the motherboard and then he wrote his signature or his initials on the bottom side of the motherboard, packed it back up and sent it back. Now this guy said a 4th time, this is still not working. So he sent it back and when he opened it up, guess what? The motherboard had been swapped. And probably this dude was just using his service as a free service to refurbish 4 PlayStation 3s. And this guy was profiting off of the fact that this guy was not putting a security thing in place for him to validate if it was his actual system or if someone had done a swapperoo on him. Now, he started using void stickers, not to void a warranty, but to at least let him know somebody has opened this system and now they're asking for warranty work. It makes you start to ask more questions. Why did this system come back? Especially if you know that you tested it, especially if you know that you tried it out first, and now it's not working. It just makes you ask more questions and dig into it a little bit deeper to try and identify why it's not working. So totally within their rights for DK Oldies to put void stickers or warranty stickers on their consoles that they allegedly opened up, and they don't want people going in there. Now, people are going in there anyway, and what we're finding is not cool. We're finding that the systems haven't been refurbished. We're finding that they haven't been opened up and cleaned out, even though it seems like they say that they have. So it really boils down to 2 things that everyone's upset about. Number 1 is that a business is charging outrageous prices for consoles like this, and they're justifying those prices by saying that they're performing a service on it that makes it, you know, someone has to pay for that service. If we can get past the notion of what refurbishment means, and as far as I can tell, the only thing DK Oldies has done is misleading practices where they have said, here we are doing a refurbishment on a Wii. Now, I don't know if they said, this is what we do for every system before it ships. They just said, here we are redoing a Wii. And maybe that Wii did need to be opened, and maybe it did need to have a service on the inside because it wasn't working. So you or I would look at that and say, oh, they must do this for all of them, when really all they're doing is guaranteeing that it will work when you get it there. And they probably do plug them in and make sure that they work before they ship it. Now, we know they're not blowing them out. We know they're not cleaning them off. We know that they're not replacing anything that's a common wear item. And that's okay, because refurbished is So loose, so loose. You can call any electronics repair shop and ask them, what do you do as part of a refurbishment? And electronics fail all the time. It is virtually impossible to decide if a component is failing or if it's good. If it's broken, it's broken. You can test it, you can prove it, you can replace it and fix it. If it's not broken, it's very hard to find something that is not broken so that you know to replace it. So you can't just expect them to be replacing stuff that don't need to be replaced. A lot of these things don't need to be replaced, so there's no point in replacing them. Now let's talk about the business side, okay? Because a lot of people are upset about it. So number one, they have done a very, very successful social media campaign. They are very prominent on YouTube, especially YouTube Shorts. I personally have seen a ton of DK Oldies shorts and did not realize that they were DK Oldies, partly because I'm not looking for a retro gaming website to sell me expensive stuff. I'm looking for deals. I got this PlayStation 2 for $20. DK Oldies wants $200 for it. So obviously I'm not going to shop at DK Oldies, but I took a chance. I got the system, I powered it up, I bought the cables I needed, I've added all the components I need to make it work the way that I want it to, but that's because I'm somebody who tinkers. I'm somebody who enjoys tinkering and fiddling with stuff and making stuff work. So it's okay that I bought it for $20 because my time that I've spent well over 5 hours on this PlayStation 2. And once you factor out my time, it would have been way cheaper to just buy it from DK Oldies. But again, I'm not the target market. So they're very prominent on YouTube. When you search them on Google, they come right at the top. If you're looking for retro gaming, they come up at the top. So they are effectively owning kind of the Google space so that if anyone's looking for somewhere to buy retro gaming components and games and consoles and all of that, they pop up near the top. That's not anything they've done wrong. That's something they've done right. And people are jealous of that. I think that it has just to do with jealousy. They think that they're scamming their way to the top. It is hard. I've been at the top of Google for specific keywords. I still am. Like if you search gears and tech, I'm going to come up, right? If you search DK Oldies, of course they're going to come up. If you search for certain videos that I've done, I still come at the top, even if you're not looking for gears and tech. That's by design. That's because I do specific things to make certain videos rise to the top. So it's nothing that they're doing wrong. They're doing it all right. That's how you run a business. Now, when we talk about their pricing, really, I understand that you can get all of this stuff much, much cheaper than what DK Oldies is selling it for. And really, where are they getting it from? They're competing with me. They're competing with you. They're competing with the guys who are hunting for the deals. They are also hunting for those deals. And when they find those deals, they bring it back, they make sure it works, and then they sell it at a markup. That's how a business works. You or I do the same thing. There are tons of guys. I'm on retro gaming Facebook groups, and I see the guys who say, check out this haul from the weekend. And they're totally scamming people who don't know anything. They're totally taking advantage of some 60-year-old grandma who has a NES sitting in her attic. She just wants it gone. And you're like, yeah, I'll give you $10 for it. It's not really worth a whole lot. Well, if you were being honest, you would pay her fair market value, right? So let's stop pretending like we're better than them. And I'm talking to you, the YouTubers who are out there saying, you know what, that's not right because I bought my NES for $50. And so what if I spent 10 hours cleaning it and refurbishing it? Because that doesn't mean that they should be able to sell it for $120. But really, actually, it kind of does. If you bought that for $20 and you spent 5 hours cleaning it and making it perfect, how much do you want to sell it for? Are you going to sell it for $20? No. You've got time in it. Are you going to sell it for $50? Probably not. Are you going to sell it for $100? Me personally, I have so much time in this NES, I would need to sell it for $400 before I would ever even consider letting it go. So all of a sudden, DK Oldies is a cheap, cheap deal for a NES system at $127.84. Like, that's very inexpensive when you factor in their time. And so I don't hold it against them that they're not pulling it apart and replacing the capacitors that always need replacing, that they're not replacing the connector that always needs replacing, that they're not cleaning the ports, that they're not, like, I really don't hold that against them, because for them to make money, they need to be able to buy it and sell it for at least double what they bought it for and that just keeps the lights on. They obviously have people working for them. Those people want to get paid. They probably get paid by the hour. And so they know that if a guy takes an hour to do one Nintendo, then, they're paying him 20, 30 bucks an hour. This Nintendo is now a $60 Nintendo. And that's just to break even. So it makes sense. The laws of retail, it has to sell for double. So 120 bucks, totally reasonable. A PlayStation 2 that they bought for probably 50 bucks or so, and then they spent some time cleaning it, testing it, and all that. They didn't even tear it down and do a repair on it. All they did was plugged it in and made sure that it worked. They're at about $100 in labor and in buying the system, and they need to sell it for $200 to make the profit, to pay for the retail space, to pay to keep the lights on, to pay to run the advertising, to pay to keep the website going. Those things cost money. And you or I or Joe YouTuber or some of you other guys out there who are saying these guys are scammers, they just have bills to pay. Now, very, very recently, DK Oldies has started a new campaign. They realize they're getting this negative press, okay? And they probably don't like it, and they probably wish that they had done some things differently, and maybe they're changing how their business strategy is now. Maybe they are going to open up the consoles and at least wipe them down before they ship them out. Maybe. I hope they are. But something else that they're doing, very, very smart on their part, is they are now saying if you make a YouTube video or a YouTube short opening up their products and featuring it and saying, hey guys, DK Oldies, check this out. We're so glad. Thank you for sending this to me. They're going to feature those videos on their channel, and they will send you gifts for doing that review. So what that's going to do is flood the YouTube algorithm with more positivity for the DK Oldies search criteria. So right now, if you search DK Oldies, what comes to the top? DK Oldies are scammers. DK Oldies suck. DK Oldies took my money. DK Oldies are crooks and criminals. And it's saying all that crap, right? So they want to saturate that because it's only a few people that are talking about. There's at least a couple YouTubers who are just beating a dead horse at this point, just riding that bandwagon. And of course, I'm making this video because people are asking questions about it. And I wanted to provide that unique perspective where I can say that I understand it from both sides. I feel bad for the people who paid $400 for PlayStation 3, who thought that it should be cleaned out, but it wasn't. Now, I hope that you sort that out with DK Oldies, and I hope that they make it right by you. But anyone who is not buying these products has no business complaining about their pricing. Their pricing is based on this is how much we want for this system. If nobody buys it at that price, they can't sell it at that price. The consumer market is driven by supply and demand, and it's driven by value. If you believe that there is value in the thing that they're selling and you pay for it, that is an exchange between you and them. And nobody else has any business talking about whether somebody got ripped off or whether somebody is being taken advantage of. Because quite frankly, there is an old saying, and that is, a fool and his money are easily departed. Leave it at that. If it's a bad deal, it's a bad deal. They will go out of business or they'll lower their pricing. Either way, if you don't buy from them, you don't get a say. It doesn't matter. If you did buy from them and you felt like you got scammed, deal with them. And if they don't deal with it the way you want, then sure, post a video saying how you feel duped. And I think that's what a few people are doing. But the general public, I think, are happy with what they got. They bought a Nintendo, it showed up, and it worked. At the very, very least, and I don't want to beat this dead horse either, but at the very, very least, they have certainly made people believe that they are performing a certain service, and it seems that that basic service is not being performed. So I think that they should fix that. I think they should change kind of how their business practices are, and perhaps their pricing model will have to change a bit to cover that fact. But the reality is they've been in business for a long time. And this is only a very recent development. So probably a lot of people got their systems and they've been happy. We're talking about a small minority of people who have got a system and have been unhappy and opened it up and were even less happy after that. Now this may continue to bubble up and it may continue to kind of expand as people open up more and more systems and say, hey, mine's dirty too, right? Might happen. And I hope that they can sort this out because, quite frankly, I think that everyone should have a chance to run a business and make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and then grow and improve. So the best thing, DK Oldies, if you're watching this video, the best thing you could do is say, you know what, we may have slipped a little bit. Own up to it. Say, you know what, we're going to make this right. Anyone whose console you've got concerns about it, let us know, and we'll take it back, or we'll give you a refund, or we'll give you a credit, maybe, you know, $100 off, and we'll pay you to clean your own console if that's what you want to do. And then from now on, just make it part of your business practice to at least open the console and give it a wipe down and a blow down and clean it up. Or stop telling people that that's what you're doing and just say, we guarantee it'll work today. We guarantee it'll work for at least the next year. And after that, who knows? I have no guarantee with this system. I bought it. If it doesn't work, that's my problem. Same with this one, same with this one, same with this one, same with this one, and same with that one. But again, luckily, I am capable of fixing it. I will make videos showing you guys how to fix it. So if you want to save some money, you can certainly come here and I'll show you how I've fixed my retro gaming consoles. I'm slowly going through each one, showing you how I hook them up to a modern TV, the products that I use to make them work. So that's kind of building on this community as well to help put the power in your hands to say, okay, I'm gonna give this a try myself, or I wanna pay a company such as DK Oldies to do this for me so that I can just have a working product. So to kind of summarize it all up, I don't wanna be painted as a bad guy. What I'm saying is I'm gonna stay neutral through here. I understand there's people that are upset. I can understand why DK Oldies does what they do. I can understand how they're trying to run their business, and I can understand that they maybe started cutting corners at some point in their business strategy to help keep the company profitable. And it definitely has made some consumers upset, and they're gonna have to do a major cover up, or not a cover up. They have to do a major restructure in how they do things to recover from this, but I think they can recover from it. I mean, we're such a small blip. The person who's buying at DK Oldies is not the person who's watching this video. It's not the person who's watching the other YouTube videos. All we're doing is getting all worked up about something that, guess what? Their target audience, they don't see these videos. Straight up, it's not going to affect their business quite the way that a lot of these YouTubers think that it will. We're not going to get them shut down. They're not going to get shut down because a few of us are upset. So the best thing we can do is to help steer them in a better direction, stop putting a stain on the retro gaming community, and kind of become a positive beacon for here's a way that you can run a successful business that's ethical, that does what they say they can do, and that charge a premium because they're worth that premium. That's basically how you summarize this. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.